Do you want me to ask Gavin this last question?
Yes.
Right. Here I go.
Okay.
I got it before you did.
Go
on the spot.
Yeah.
Do convicted criminals deserve the right to a place to live after they're freed from prison?
That's what would be the backlash from it. I think that's what you're always going to get people
That is
commenting.
a direct question.
Yeah. I think the morality.
Are you a politician?
No, exactly right. If I'm going to run for the meeting now, then I need to think about the way to answer this politically. I personally believe that everybody deserves a second chance. If people have been convicted of a crime and have been sentenced and go to prison, serve that sentence and then come out, then that's the justice system. I did law at uni, and a big part of that focus was, you've got to believe in the legal system. Yep. You've got to understand where it comes from. And our legal system, the English legal system, is held up the world round for its fairness,
yep.
for its equity. Ultimately, people make mistakes. We all make mistakes.
Yep.
Some of them are worse than others. It's interesting, actually. I was watching this program. It's like the world's most extreme prisons. I think it's on like Channel 5 or something.
Yeah.
There's a guy who was convicted. I can't remember his name. Raphael something or other.
Nadal?
Not Nadal.
So you're right.
Yeah.
It's that guy or the guy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's it. No, it wasn't him. It definitely wasn't him. And they were in a prison in Germany, and it was a radical reformative prison. It was based on therapy, like intensive therapy, and it was really like they got their sentences significantly reduced, but they had to really own up to what they'd done.
Yep.
And there was one guy in there convicted of like violent crime. He was like surrounded, like going in the centre of all the other people who'd been convicted. And they're just quite like, what would you do now? What do you feel bad about what you did? And they have this like 3 times a week, this intensive like, being faced with the reality of what you've done. That was shown to reduce the reoffending rate, and ultimately that's what we're trying to do.
Yep.
If we look at the nuts and bolts of what do you want to do, you can punish people, that's fine. But ultimately, what do we want? We want people to come out and not commit crimes again.
Yeah, and the fact is, they are coming out.
Yeah.
That's the part I look at.
Yeah.
I think from a pragmatic standpoint, they are coming out. Right, and maybe very dangerous criminals. There may be criminals that aren't particularly dangerous, but unless they're in there indefinitely, they're coming back out. So as a society, what do you want to do with them? The question is probably more around what's the appropriate type of housing, and that conversation is probably a fair one to have.
Yeah.
But should they be housed at all? Human beings, aren't they?
I'm no expert in this area, but I'm sure there's like a transition that needs to happen dependent on the issues surrounding that person.
Yeah.
I think from my limited knowledge that an assessment takes place prior to somebody leaving in terms of support.
But I bet it's an area that's particularly weak in terms of we were talking about getting our family's tenancy ready, so families in TA, and equipping them with the skills to be able to manage their housing, manage those responsibilities.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to know what the provisional service is for ex-offenders that have been institutionalised for 20-25 years, and coming back out into a new world.
I'm sure it's a massively underfunded area anyway, because I know prisons are overcrowded. There's low funding, so it's a really challenging area. This social return investment is a really interesting stat here. So like for every pound invested in helping an offender, if it stops them reoffending, I bet the return investment is massive. I bet that makes a huge difference in terms of the money spent. Crikey, Joe, you got us deep there, didn't you?
That is good.
Yeah, man, right at the end as well.